Bonjour à tous.
Hello.
أهلا بكم. Boa tarde.
السلام عليكم.
Добрый вечер, главный.
欢迎世界
تحية طيبة لكم.
Muy buenas noches.
Dzień dobry.
各位好，欢迎收看中国新闻。Guten Tag.
Bonsoir.
Bonjour.
Salam alaikum.
Boa noite.
Guten Abend. Hello again. Bonjour. Guten Abend.
Bonjour. Boa tarde.
Bonsoir.
نشرة الأنباء من القاهرة أهلا بكم.
We are convinced that it is necessary for a general interest program to have a strong and reliable news department. This helps to build credibility for the whole network, and it also strengthens the bond with the viewers.
Credibility can be established in many ways through the content of an entertainment channel. However, news is still a very important factor that gives credibility.
You cannot imagine a big generalist channel without information.
I think that all of the networks in America, and probably around the world, rely on their news divisions to be the face of the credibility of that organization.
We have just undergone a big review and looking at what our audience expect from us now and from our news programs. And I think what they expect from us is they expect accuracy, impartiality, independence.
The BBC, they expect to come and be told the truth and never to have to question what they are being told.
They expect to meet every day the same person because it's like a rendezvous, as we say in France.
It's very important to have a host who is very close, because we try to bring the news as close, as simple as possible.
Que dès qu'on met un présentateur ou une présentatrice, comme c'est le cas pour nous au journal de la mi-journée, là qu'on a lancé il y a 2 mois, le 12-50, immédiatement dans la tête des gens, ça donne le côté, tiens, M6 fait de l'information. M6 fait de l'information depuis 18 ans, mais parce que c'était un tout image, les gens la consommaient, parce qu'il y avait une forte audience, mais finalement on n'apparaissait jamais comme une chaîne qui fait de l'information.
Bonjour à tous, bienvenue dans le 12-50. Nous sommes le vendredi 24 mars. On commence par les titres du journal.
I think news has to be live, especially in this world where the viewers expect instant notification of what's going on because of all the continuous news outlets, be they television or be they online.
Again, being live is a very important aspect too, because you'd be up to date with whatever is happening.
Emerge for their final press conference in an hour or two will be pursuing those kind of themes.
I think it needs to come from a place. I think the viewers need to understand where the news is coming from.
I think it's important that the anchors broadcast from a set. It gives one a sense of familiarity and comfort. But I also think that it's important that the anchor get out in the field and report from the story. I think the viewer expects that. I think that the viewer deserves that.
Ou bien on veut un décor, on a un décor théâtral, et à ce moment-là on montre bien au téléspectateur qu'il est à l'extérieur, qu'il se rend finalement en visite quelque part, dans une forme de représentation. Ou bien au contraire, on a un décor très intimiste, et à ce moment-là, ça n'est plus le téléspectateur qui se déplace, c'est le présentateur pratiquement qui vient chez le téléspectateur à sa table ou dans son salon. C'est-à-dire que debout devant un écran, pourquoi pas, c'est quelque chose qui peut être fait, mais qui nécessite effectivement une réalisation très spécifique, beaucoup de moyens, des points de repère aussi sur la scène, dans le studio, de façon que le présentateur ne se trouve pas comme une espèce d'extraterrestre perdu en état de lévitation au milieu des images. Voilà.
We're not the CBS, we're not BBC, we're not TIFF. Huh? We're a local station. We have an audience of 6 million people. We do not have budgets to have a news set a magazine set, a sports set, a weather set. So it's a tough job for the set designer and for the creative director, I think, to come up with a concept, which is, well, what I call the 360-degree concept.
News is all about storytelling, and anything that aids the storytelling in the design is good. Anything that distracts should be removed.
Actually, all these elements should help the producer and the writer-reporter to have to explain his story.
For us, I think we'd love to go more to the pure essence of the storytelling. And everything which is ballast, which is not important, we skip.
The other elements such as the panels, the plasmas, the design furniture, well, they are there and they're made to and established to complement the actual framing of the anchor.
Globes, world maps, blue, gold, they're always going to be the safe bet.
I don't think that you have to use the globe. The globe has been part of our identity for a long time, and so in our last redesign we kept it because we wanted to keep hold of those elements which we thought worked for us and modernize them, and I think that that's why we have a globe with a very modern twist.
In America, MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, they're visually stimulating, and I don't think that there's a problem with presenting news that's visually stimulating. I do think you can over-visually stimulate. We like to call that graphics diarrhea around here.
But in terms of the visual look, what they want us to be modern, they want us to be dynamic, and they want us to be accessible.
It's purely essence. It's coding the colors. It's pretty contemporary. It's 2006 today, and that's it.
Well, but I think what is interesting about how CNN have redesigned is not what they've ended up with, but the question that they asked to actually start that ball rolling, which had to be something like conventional straps, conventional tickers take up too much space on screen. We want to see the picture.
Oui, on a une présentatrice, mais oui, ce qui est le plus important aussi, au moins aussi important, elle doit se mettre au service de l'image.
On ne se servait pas de l'habillage pour introduire de l'information inutile ou qui aurait capté la perception du téléspectateur.
If it's breaking news and it's important, the viewer wants to see it uncut, they want to see it quickly, and they want to know what's going on. So I think there's a difference between breaking news than if it's an event, which is a large ceremonial event or a national day or something like that.
I think as well, I think that there are a lot of commercial factors to the whole idea of breaking news, especially on commercial channels as opposed to publicly funded channels. Essentially, you are fighting for eyeballs. Every time you put a breaking news strap on, you are basically saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. And there's only so many times you can look, and it's almost like you feel like you're being punked because you look and then it's just telling you something which isn't actually breaking news, it's actually news just in.
News can and should be branded like entertainment programs. The viewers should have an instant feeling of recognition when they turn on their TV and tune into an RTL news program.
I absolutely think that news can be branded the same way that entertainment programs are branded. People don't buy television sets in America to be informed. They buy television sets to be entertained.
It cannot be branded like any other entertainment program because when it comes to news, it's a bit serious and it's a bit political. I mean, you cannot treat or use a strategy that you use for an entertainment program to apply it on a news program. This cannot happen.
I wouldn't brand it like an entertainment program, but it has to be branded. I think we live in a very competitive market. I think we live in a market where the viewers are very promiscuous. There's an immense amount of choice.
You know by watching Fox with the sound off that it's Fox. It's flashy, it's fast, it's entertaining, it's colorful.
The channels I like are ProSieben, who's really nice in Germany. Arte in France is really nice as well. So I like really simple, nice typography.
Yeah.
Traditional news reference in France is still BBC.
Few of the famous are CNN and BBC.
There's no better news programming in the world than the BBC.
Je crois qu'il n'y a pas de référence. La référence, c'est le journalisme, c'est-à-dire quelles nouvelles donnons-nous, pourquoi, avec quels critères de vérification, avec quel sérieux, avec quelle crédibilité. À partir de là, chaque pays a sa culture, a sa façon de faire, et bien sûr qu'on peut se nourrir d'exemples venus d'ailleurs, pour les décors, pour la façon de mettre en scène, mais de copier intégralement serait une erreur. Donc, il n'y a pas de référence. La référence, pour moi, c'est la crédibilité. Alors, il y a des chaînes qui apparaissent comme étant plus crédibles que d'autres. C'est une réputation qui est sans doute fondée sur quelque chose et pas toujours vérifiée non plus.
I think that the BBC is made up of fair and credible and solid journalists who go out there and report the news from around the world in a way that actually works as a news-gathering organization for the rest of the world.
Oh, I think News Design is original every day.
No, because I think we feed off such. It's difficult to be original, full stop.
9楼举行，来自全国16个省份。
Und in seinem Etat schon 3 Milliarden.
Au groupe clandestin Armata Corsa et
wybierania szefa Centralnego Biura Antykorupcyjnego Prawo i Sprawiedliwość.
تحت قيادتكم السامية.
Räuber hat da jetzt die amerikanische Variante.
Some cases awakened by the sound of sirens.
Alors, autre établissement, autre situation.
Du président Bouteflika durant la présidence. Les syndicats l'ont appelé à faire réexaminer le texte.
O Ministério Público pede 25 anos de cadeia.
Abwärts und mit ihr die Sorge die Deiche.
Crue qui monte d'1 centimètre par heure.
Seine erste Trainerstation endete für Weltmeister Jürgen Kohler nach.
To heal a 2-year rift, which in 2004 saw the man in the car.
Let us now take a look at the future, for it is already happening.
I think we live in a world where people are now getting their news from television, from radio, from their telephones, and I think there's a place for all this all types of news in that.
Podcasting, blogging, netcasting, mobilecasting, all of these things, we like to say, wherever you go, there we are. NBC News.
What news organisations and broadcasting organisations need to be aware of is the fact that the internet has meant that people don't have to take the whole meal. It's like a McDonald's meal, you know? You don't have to take the hamburger, the fries and the burger. You can have it your way. You can just have the burger if you want.
Traditional news will still exist because a large majority of the audience likes to have their day structured through television. They like the higher video and audio quality, and they also like to have an information filter.
People still are quite lazy and they do like to have something delivered in one block. They know that they can go at 10 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 10:30 and have the news delivered to them, the whole of the day's news.
15 years ago, everybody was saying it's finished. These big informations program are finished because everyone wants to see news at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock. So it's finished for every day, the same hour, with the same anchorman. And in fact, they have a big audience.
It's very difficult to maintain your credibility if you do not have news on it, but it's going to be very difficult to keep news on those channels when you've got so many specialist news channels out there.
I'll tell you why traditional news should still exist on TV. Because more people get their news on TV than from anywhere else.
Any company coming in can bring fresh eyes.
What we buy is not only the expertise, because we do have a lot of expertise ourselves, but what we buy is also international expertise and experience which colleagues and TV stations around the world, in Paris, in Canada, in the United States, in London, did all experienced with. And that's very interesting for us as a small channel to have those expertise. We often need a very fresh and new approach just to take that step further.
Vous croyez toujours ce qu'on vous dit à la télévision? Bonsoir.